Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here and
David Heavener.
from thelestevangelist.com. Make sure you guys check out that TV series. It is amazing. You're going to love it, and I've read some of it.
Yep.
So.
You're going to love it because she's in it, huh?
Yes.
I'm in it too, but they're going to love it because you're in it. Okay. Hey, Lisa, you know what I want to talk about today? I want to talk about mind control. Okay. Now, when you hear mind control, it almost sounds like an old sci-fi movie, you know, you watch back in the 50s and 60s of how people, you know, or they're hypnotized and the word is said and they, you know, stand straight up and they start doing crazy things. But mind control is much more than that, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I have read, I can't even begin to tell you guys how many documents on mind control, on hypnotism, on, what is that? Telepathy.
Yeah, that's what telepathy, right?
Yeah. So, but here's the thing: the FBI. There's a website. It's the FBI Vault. Google that, and it takes you straight to the vault of the FBI, where people can request and citizens can request via the Freedom of Information Act documents that pertain to the quote paranormal. Now, I've read a lot of these paranormal files, and a lot of what the government partakes in is things like astral projection, things like hypnotism, things like mind control. All these things, they study it. And I'm looking at documents back from the 1960s, 50s, 70s. I think some of it is from the 80s. And look, the thing is, they don't release a lot of these projects until 50 years later.
Yeah.
Because they don't want you to know what's current. So that's why I'm saying some of those. I've managed to get my hands on some from 2000.
Wow.
But most of the people are aware of MK Ultra and Project Monarch. But they use brain stimulation, the shocking treatments, hypnotism, and weird things like brain linkage is one that they were attempting, where they talked about linking the brains of you, which I think could definitely come into play in the end days, especially if you get this chip, right?
Yeah.
Then where if they put a chip in you, it would send a signal to your brain, and we would kind of be linked. All of the people who get it are linked. This was technology that they talked about. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it was no document of its invention, right? Mm-hmm. But it would link everybody who got it, and they would be linked to a higher brain. Now, who was this higher brain that they're linking it to was the question, but it was one of the most terrifying ones, but one of the most that I thought, wow, this is right up the biblical alley. And so the writer of this report was saying how they wanted to link it to this master brain, but it had to be this perfect being. And I thought, oh, wow, that's the Antichrist.
That's
but
the Antichrist.
I kid you not, that they talked about they wanted to link it to a perfect being. And then they entertained the idea it had to be an alien, because obviously people aren't perfect. Right. So some kind of supreme being. And we know biblical speaking, and I know the Bible, and I know what this document says. And this person doesn't know anything about Christ. I mean,
right, yeah, exactly.
Or the Antichrist.
Right.
And here they are talking about that very being, because the Antichrist, as we know, comes on scene. He says, "I am God." Oh, well, there's your linker, right there, right?
Exactly. So what you're saying is the chip could be linked to mind control, could be controlling your mind. So see, we think about a lot of times the chip is in here, and so they can just track us. But no, it's a mind control device, okay? So let me ask this question. How much play does the medical field have in this? In other words, do you see the fingers of the medical world with their fingers in the pie on this thing? Yes,
because they're part of the jumping point for it. For example, Obamacare, yes, it does talk about implanting a chip. No, it's not a forceful thing they plan on implementing. That part isn't 100% there, but yes, they do entertain the idea in that. And so putting a chip in so it can read all your medical file, great sale to the American people who don't know any better. Why? Well, because if you have an injury or an accident, you're unable to talk, they can scan your chip, see how nice that is, and know all your medical history, your blood type, and you're good to go. Your life is saved, right?
Absolutely. Point. Well, the medical field has to have a big part of it, because they have to get it into your skin, right? Or however that's part of the medicine. So therefore, excuse me, doctors are going to have to be indoctrinated to believe that this is the way to go. I like that. Doctors indoctrinated, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but it all comes down to this. It all comes down to, if we don't read our Bibles and we don't understand what the Bible is saying about the end times, Lisa, there's going to be so many people that's going to be deceived. you know? And I mean, even now I talk to people, even Christians, and I talk to them about the end times, and you know what they say to me? They say, what? Don't talk to me about end times. Things are getting better. You know, we have the government's, I mean, look, everything's just nicer, you know, and I'm going, are you out of your mind? These are Christians, or so-called, they call themselves Christians, right?
Right.
And that's why I'm making The Last Evangelist, because we have to get this out to our kids, to the young people. You know, the young people are just walking around like zombies, kind of not knowing what's going on, looking at the older people going, well, I don't want to be like that. I don't want that. This is a chance we can get the word out to the young people, and they can go, hey, this is cool. I really like that. What? Am I really? Did you say that? Are you kidding me? Cashless society, mark of the beast, right? Registered churches, FEMA camps. Line 10 kids up on the street, and you ask them, do you know anything about the end times, what's going to happen? Do you know anything about Matthew 24? What do you think they would say?
No.
No. It's sad, isn't it?
It is sad.
I mean, it's like, so we need to get out there and educate the kids. So I want to end with this. With the mark of the beast and with the chip, okay, and it could be in various ways. They could put it in your skin. It could be a tattoo, right? Okay. Is there any other way that it could be besides the chip and a tattoo?
Well, that's probably the most prominent. There is a theory out there that it could be the mark of Allah, because he meant a symbol versus a number. That's just something to Google, but that's another idea. Okay,
so
but it's not in your skin.
Okay, so however you take it, it's attached. It controls your mind. Okay, this shooter in Vegas. Okay, we need to pray for all the people in Las Vegas at the Mandalay Bay, right?
Yeah.
The guy's 64. He's white. He fires down upon a crowd of country music lovers, right? I don't want to assume too much, but I would assume a lot of those people are pretty conservative people. You know, a lot of people listen to country music. A lot of times they're right-wingers, if you want to call right-winger or left-winger, right? Excuse me. Is it possible this guy could be under some type of mind control?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because, Lisa, nothing's adding up with this shooting in Vegas. I'm sorry. But first they come out and they say that it was, the first thing they came out to say was it was the largest attack of a terrorist attack on domestic soil, right? I'm going, well, why would they make that conclusion just all of a sudden? They didn't know anything about him. You know, this is before they came out with anything on him, right?
Right.
And then it's like you said, there was a news crew that was already there.
MSM.
MSM that was already there, ready to cover it.
Oh.
Now, are they liberal or are they conservative? Yeah, exactly, right. So we know what that's all about. Folks, I could almost put this in one of the episodes of The Last Evangelist. Yeah. But people wouldn't believe it. They'd go, no, that's too absurd. But yet it's happening in real life, right? You got this shooting of all these people being massacred, and it's so almost surreal that I'm asking this question. And I've asked you so many times, Lisa, nothing's making sense. This is something happening on a higher level of somebody planting things and somebody doing things to implement their agenda. What say you on that?
Absolutely. I mean, it's unfortunate, but there are false flags that happen. If we go back to Operation Northwoods, that was one that they planned to pin a false flag on. You know, obviously we know the end of that. But these are things that do happen, and they do that. I mean, we don't have to look very far. 9/11, because there's an ultimate end game. There's an ultimate agenda. So the question always has to be asked: what is the motive? Why do they want to do it? What's the reasoning? Yeah. And so if there is an answer to that, then we can see, you know, what plays about. And obviously not everything is a false flag or that kind of operation. It's unfortunate that stuff does happen. But what happened in Vegas is just disturbing, and you know, the amount of people that died. And but there are a lot of unanswered questions, and it's definitely something that is unfortunate, that is staged to accomplish agendas. Yeah.
Make no mistake, this is one move closer to the one world to that agenda we talk about.
Disarmament.
Disarmament, taking away the guns, take away the rights, put the people, look, when the people are in trouble, like, oh, we got to protect you because there's terrorists out there. Well, what do they do with people? They usually put them together in a certain area so we can protect you, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go back to your mind control thing. Okay, so television, TV, the people with propaganda, you monitor what stimulates the brain. Well, a mass murder, and this is going to sound horrible, but it will stimulate the brain and cause a reaction. And your reaction is going to be a sad one. You're going to be heartfelt and you're going to be vulnerable, right? And this is the idea. Let's make the people vulnerable. Let's make them sad. Let's give them a motive to do this thing. Yeah. And that's what the ultimate agenda is. Yeah. So it's a sort of brainwashing technique to get a person to feel a certain way to accomplish an agenda. Yeah. That's what it boils down to.
Thank you. It's a drug. And that's why I talk about Hollywood. I talk about the brainwashing that goes on in Hollywood of how, excuse me, companies like Disney and Netflix, they want to destroy your children. They want the minds of your children. That's another form of mind control.
It is.
And that's my world. You know, and my platform is, hey, parents, we got to wake up. Stop letting your kids watch that stuff on television. Because it's like Lisa says, it stimulates the brain. They see something, they get stimulated. And you know how they stimulate the brain in Hollywood, on television, with young kids? They do it with sex. Oh, yeah. I've seen, and that's mind control, Lisa. That's a certain kind of mind control, because I've seen these Netflix kids, these little kids on there talking about little boys' anatomy, parts of their anatomy, condoning homosexuality, and it's a certain kind. Now watch it, and I go, what are they doing? Mind control, okay? And I'll close with this: if we can somehow get to our children on this level when they're young, and we can nurture them with the gospel. Teach them, I'm talking about God's morals, and put God back into their lives in Scripture. Mm-hmm. Don't you think that when they grow up and we see the world in 20 years, it could be different?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because the only thing, folks, that'll fight mind control is God's mind of Christ. Then you have God's control.
Absolutely. Yeah. I agree 100%. Yeah. Well, that's an amazing place to close, I think. Yeah. And please don't forget to go to thelastevangelist.com. Donate there. I know it's funded by you guys. Yeah. Trying to stay out of Hollywood, so make sure you donate. Help support that. It's an amazing film. I'm going to be in it. He's going to be in it. It's going to be cool. So check out those links below.
And we have our own TV network, too, we're going to be talking about. Our own television. It's going to launch on our own TV network and other networks, but we're going to have our own platform, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Lisa.
Well, thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, and
I'm David Heavener.
Signing out.